If you're wondering if you should build, if you should cut, if you could focus on body recomposition, like, are you like, what do I even do to see the results that you want? Then this episode is for you, because I'm going to be answering those questions for you in this week's weekly vlog. Because if you don't know, I am currently on a 12-month mission to look better in my 30s than I did at 25 without extremes and without calorie counting. Not only am I breaking this down for you, but I'm explaining why I am changing phases and why I'm gaining weight. Yes, you heard that right, gaining weight. Because for a long time, I made so many mistakes with trying to change my body composition, and I went around in circles. I'll tell you about that later, because by the time you watch this week's episode, you are going to have so much clarity and knowing exactly what you need to do to see the changes that you want. I'm sharing the real, raw, behind the scenes of what it really takes to change your body composition in 2026. So let's strap in. Let's get into the vlog, into Sunday morning where we are working out together. Let's go. Morning, happy Sunday. We've made it to the gym, full body workout. Let's do it. Week 3 of our current program. Let's freaking go. We are starting the build. Building muscle. Building muscle.
Are you starting muscle building?
Yeah.
Today?
Yes. On the 31st of December.
Hello.
Yes. It's very exciting. Oh, you look great. For a really, really long time, I personally was conditioned to less calories is better and more exercise. So I was always trying to lose weight. I was always trying to do a calorie deficit. I was always trying to lose body fat because I thought that that was the key to looking fit, lean, and toned. But I got into this cycle of like losing weight and putting it back on. But then I also got in this cycle of no matter how much weight I lost, I still wasn't fit, lean, and toned. I still was a little bit skinny fat. I still didn't like the shape of my body. While yes, I was smaller, I wasn't toned and firm and really happy with my body. And this is any time I lost weight, like this is what my body composition looked like. So while yes, I was smaller, my glutes didn't grow. I wasn't happy with my physique. And that is because I made the biggest mistake, and it's always trying to lose weight instead of going through periods of intentionally building muscle. Because like I said, we're conditioned to losing weight is the best thing. And if we lose all this weight and we drop all this body fat, then we're just going to have this toned look. However, if you do not have any muscle mass on your body, and if you've never taken the time to build any muscle like I did, then you have no shape to your body. Because at the end of the day, muscle is the thing that makes you look good. Muscle is the thing that makes your glutes look perky, your shoulders look toned, it gives you abs. That's exactly why I am doing a muscle building phase before I go into a fat loss phase. Because we always have to think about what our end goal is. And for me personally, my end goal is to have abs. My end goal is to have not like full abs, but like a toned flat stomach. And then is also to grow my glutes, grow my calf muscles as well. And I know if I just always am dieting, one, it's going to mess up my hormones, it's going to mess up my metabolism, it's going to mess up my mental state and my mental health, my energy, my vitality. But it also means that I'm not going to put any muscle mass on my body. Literally doing a bulk for an entire year completely changed my own perspective and my own body composition. So that's exactly why I personally am doing a muscle building before a fat loss. So then when I go to Europe in June, I'm going to look banging because I'm going to spend more time building muscle to cut back then the fat. I'm exactly the same weight in both of these photos. However, because I've got more muscle mass, I look way better. And this transformation wasn't done from losing fat. This was done from building muscle and then losing fat, which is the mistake that so many women are missing. Now we are going to meal prep together, and then after I meal prep, we're going to sit down, we're going to chat, and I'm going to tell you when to know to cut, to build, or to focus on body recomposition. For lunch this week, what's on the menu is got a noodle dish and I have a salad sandwich. I'm just frothing a salad sandwich right now. It's so easy. Everything's already prepped. We just have to cook the chicken for that. And then my dinner is going to be a spicy beef noodle stir fry, which is, yeah, it's going to be a vibe. So let's meal prep together. So as you can see, I meal prepped my lunch, and I really just like, I have certain things that I really love and I just repeat it. I have like a few repeatable meals that I just always go to. Salad sandwiches, salad bagels is something that I often have for lunch because I just love them so much. So I, as you saw, prepped all the salads, and it's just like, you can make them fresh every single day. You can make them wraps, you can make them for sandwiches. It's just like so much variety. And they're so delicious, they're so satisfying, so filling as well. Now we're meal prepping dinner together, and I'm just inside the Fin Academy app. Like I said, I've been testing because we've got so many upgrades coming to it, which is so exciting. But this is what we're going to make for dinner. I'm going to show you the recipe so that you can screenshot it. Oh, there we go. Just so you know what we're doing. Obviously, this is personalized to my goals. One thing we're switching is, instead of doing rump steak, we're actually going to do beef bits. Excited about that. I just went for a run after lunch in between a client call, and this was the first week. This running is a new thing to me. This is the first week that I didn't hate every single second of it. So I was like, yes, my body is getting conditioned to it. I think it's like the third week. So I'm excited for it not to like hurt me so much, just so I can be a little bit more conditioned. Let's meal prep together, and then I'm gonna have a shower, wash off my makeup. I'm really sweaty. I went for a run with my makeup on low vibe. Was the error, probably broke out in some pimples. And then I'm going to explain if you should cut bulk or recomp tomorrow. So you're gonna have to wait. Then let's meal prep. I'm also going to time this to show you that meal prepping doesn't have to take long when you have easy, delicious recipes. Good morning, you guys. Happy Tuesday. I am feeling disheveled. I look disheveled. I feel like this is common. I have woken up. It is, like I said, Tuesday, and I am struggling. I haven't had my period in like 40. Let me look at my period should be done by now. I haven't had my period in 44 days. What? Which has been the longest cycle I've had since back in the day when I had hypothalamic amenorrhea, where I didn't have a period for like 3 years. Gosh, rookie error there. Anyway, my skin is breaking out, so I'm hoping that that is a sign. I'm so blessed with my skin, like very privileged with that, and I'm feeling dizzy. I'm just not having a good time, really. But like always, I'm just showing you behind the scenes. Looks like sunshine and rainbows behind the content, but it's not. Food-wise, to be honest, for the last week, since the start of my luteal phase, like a week before my supposed period, I've just felt so bloated. I'm holding on to so much water. I just feel blah in my body. So like I've started a muscle building phase, and I'm just like blah. I just feel so blah. My training hasn't been near as good as what it should be, simply because it's just like the time of year, just letting that go, whatever. I know that I'm just going to be consistent again, but man, you guys, I do not feel good. But that's okay. We get through it. So today, it's actually really exciting right now because we are in full launch mode. The 3-week reset starts next week, and we do like rounds. So it's open, kind of closed sort of vibes. Just because we do it in a group and there's live calls, there's a live aspect. So I'm there coaching with you guys, hanging out. So that's super exciting because that is today. By the time this video goes up, that will be over. And then today I just have 4 one-to-one client calls, which I love because it's my VIP girls, where we do not only nutrition and exercise coaching, but mindset coaching as well. So I love supporting them on a deeper level to help them achieve their goals. So I literally have 4 calls today. So today is going to be boring. And then I'm trying to decide, I have to open Notion, my to-do list, and decide what else I'm going to do on top of that. I do a weekly business meeting, so that has to go down. And then I'm thinking today, I really hope I get my period today. I just have a feeling. But then I also have some content jobs that I have to do today or like this week sometime. So I might do those today, filming some videos for a brand, some recipes of creating content for brands. So they, outsource it to moi because I love it. So I'm going to be doing that maybe, but I'm not sure what else. I think we'll do the meeting and then I'll figure it out. So happy Tuesday. And of course, also I'm going to sit down and tell you guys about what you guys should be doing cut bulk recon wise. Anyway, thought I'd update you with how I'm feeling because it's not good, but we'll talk later. Probably when I actually finish my coffee and feeling maybe a little bit better.
Morning. Happy Thursday.
Folks, Bricky. It's Thursday. Jump scare. Yes, this week has not been rough. I was right. I got my period on Tuesday, so I have just been not a great human. But today I'm like really feeling like myself again, which is absolutely amazing. So of course I'm spending the day with you guys. I just did my morning routine, went for a walk with my coffee, had those oats, and now I am sitting down at 7:30. I'm sitting down on my computer and I am going to be planning and creating a bit of a shot list because I've got like a full day of content creation today. I'm going to be creating content for Instagram. I'm going to be creating content for the brands that I was talking about that I didn't do because I was just like not a human. And I am also going to vlog. So lots of video making today. And so I'm going to bring you along for the ride. And of course, I'm still going to update you on when you should bulk and cut because I need to explain that to you so you guys can understand. Skin, it's so bad, like the worst it's been, I'm not going to say ever, but this is bad for me. Again, I know I'm blessed with my skin. If you struggle with your skin, I feel for you because yeah, it is a lot. So yeah, let's spend the day together. So what phase should you be doing? Should you cut? Should you bulk? Should you maintain? So just a quick debrief. In any point of your body composition journey, you're always going to be in one of the three phases. The fat loss phase, which is where you eat in a calorie deficit, the maintenance phase, where you're eating at maintenance calories, and the muscle building phase, where you're eating in a calorie surplus. And these three combined is the secret sauce to essentially changing your body composition. Because in order to look better, you need two different things. You need to build muscle and you also need to lose fat. And this is how you are able to achieve that. Think of it hand in hand with calories. It's the strategy of how much to eat, and then we fill up those calories and that phase with the macronutrients. So let's just break down each of the phases one by one. Before I get into what phase is right for you, I'm just going to quickly give you a little rundown of the specific phases. So let's start off with the muscle building phase. So obviously, of course, this is the phase to put on muscle. It's the phase that I'm currently in right now. And the reason why you do it essentially is to build muscle, is to build shape to your body, to build your glutes, to build your shoulders, to have back definition. Because without the muscle building, then you don't get that lean, fit, toned look. You just get a smaller version of yourself. A lot of people get stuck with a skinny fat look if they've never prioritized building muscle. So the prerequisites for a muscle building phase is number one, you have to have a good body image. And if you don't, it's like really important, I personally believe, is that to work with a coach in that space. I personally did the first time I ever did a muscle building phase. You betcha I had a one-on-one coach to help me through that because it was quite triggering and it was difficult. Because essentially during a muscle building phase, while yes, you are putting on muscle, you are going to put on fat as well. And there has to be an element of you being okay with that. It's not huge amounts of body fat, but there is an increase. And if you can't handle that increase and your body image gets triggered a lot, then it's really important to work on your body image triggers before you enter into that phase. That's not to scare you at all. I'm just, talking from experience. The first time for me was quite triggering, but now it's like I really try and push women into doing it because I've seen the effects that it's had on my own body composition and like all the health benefits that you get with building building muscle for longevity, for insulin resistance, for metabolic health, so many different factors. So the recommended time length for a muscle building phase is 12 to 20 weeks. You do need a bit of time in order to execute it. For me, I'm doing this one for 12 weeks. I've done ones where I've, bulked for 6 months and then maintained that weight for 6 months and then cut. So it is really dependent on what you've got going on in your life, if you have specific time frames like that. But it's really important that you give yourself a good chunk of time. The next phase is the maintenance phase. This is what I like to call performance, and essentially that basically where you're living your life. So this phase is really, really important to recover from dieting fatigue or training fatigues that you potentially could have gained from a cut phase. It's the place where you get your body back in homeostasis, and it's the place where you learn how to maintain the fat loss after you have lost it. You are eating exactly as much as you're burning, so you're just going to be maintaining the weight that you're at. And you do have a little bit of, like, after a calorie deficit, you still get positive body composition changes as you stay in maintenance for a bit of time, especially if you're training hard. This is where I really love helping women get to the performance phase, because they've executed their calorie deficit and then they get to learn how to live their life whilst maintaining their results. It's super, super, super important. The cost of this phase is that there is no real obvious big body composition changes. Unless you're new to lifting, then you will get body recomposition effects, but it won't be as obvious as what a bulk and cut will do. So while yes, there's small improvements, it's not very obvious and a lot. So that's kind of the downside with that phase. Then the last phase is the fat loss phase. So eating in a calorie deficit, less than what your body is burning, with the goal of dropping body fat. You need to make sure that your protein is high and that you are nailing your macros and progressive overload in the gym, so that when you lose weight, it comes from body fat, not weight loss. We want fat loss, not weight loss. They're two different things. So the cost of a dieting phase is that you're going to get diet fatigue, which means there's going to be a point where you start thinking about food all the time, you get exhausted, you have low energy, your training intensity decreases, everything feels harder, and it's just it's not a really fun place to live. That's why we always say a fat loss phase is a phase, not a lifestyle. So it's really, really important as a prerequisite going into a dieting phase that you have been maintaining your weight without dieting for at least 12 weeks. Because if you're going into a diet phase already thinking about food, or already feeling like you can demolish a whole pizza, it's going to be really, really hard for you to actually be able to stick to the dieting phase. I like to say you have to earn the dieting phase. You have to be in a good mindset before you're going into it, because if you can't stick to it, then you're going to be on this constant of the hamster wheel. But then a weekend happens, an event happens, and you just blow it. And you just get stuck in this cycle of trying to be good and trying to stick to your calorie deficit, but you can't because you have all these cravings, you have low energy, or you have so much going on. So it's really, really important that if you do want to do a calorie deficit, your body is primed for that calorie deficit and you're mentally ready for that calorie deficit. And I often get I want a flatter stomach, I want more muscle tone, I want to look like I actually work out, I want to have lifted glutes. And a lot of women just always think that they need to lose weight, but without actually looking at the long-term game plan. Immediately, you might not be exactly where you want to be. You're going to be working towards that in the right way, because essentially you need to ask yourself, what is going to help me get out of the current situation that I'm in, and what is going to help me progress towards my long-term goal? Because at the end of the day, a cut works best when you've been maintaining for a long time, when you've built muscle, when you have a really good, healthy relationship with food, because then you're actually probably going to see a much better result if you're just coming the back end of doing challenges, diets, and just always trying to lose weight. So considering all of the things that we've already spoken about, it's also good to look at the starting point of your body composition. So depending on how lean you are, so if you're a woman who is in the body fat percentages of 18 to 25, you're quite lean. I'll put a photo here on the screen of what that looks like. So if your body composition looks something like this, then a really good place for you to start is actually more on the muscle building size. Because if you just keep getting leaner and leaner and you don't take the time, and you haven't taken the time to build muscle, then what's going to happen is you're not going to have a toned look, and you have to get to a really low body fat percentage, which is actually really unhealthy for a female. It's unhealthy for your hormones. It's really hard to maintain it. You have to do some pretty extremes to get that lean. So if your end goal, if you are sitting at that 18 to 25% body fat and your goal is to look leaner and tone and you work out, then you've got to build some muscle mass on your body. Execute the muscle building phase for the 12 to 20 weeks, and then you will enter the fat loss phase to peel back your body fat percentage so that you could see the muscle. Then after a calorie deficit, you must go back to maintenance, if not into a build, so that you can restore your metabolism, you can get over the dieting fatigue, you can get to a better healthy relationship with food, make sure that your hormones are all in balance, because eating in a calorie deficit for a long period of time is, number one, it's not healthy physiologically or psychologically. Then on the other side of it, if you are someone who is sitting at like 25 to 30 or even more percent body fat, then a calorie deficit, a fat loss phase is a really good place for you to start. Essentially getting yourself to a little bit lower of a body fat percentage before you then build muscle makes the cut in the end easier, because then you're not cutting back so much body fat. Because of course, if you are sitting at this body fat percentage and then you decide you want to build muscle, which is, you still can, but if you decide to build muscle, then you'll probably put extra fat on top of with that muscle, so then making the cut super difficult in the long term at the end of that. So in this phase, if you're sitting here, then definitely a fat loss phase makes sense first, and then focusing on building muscle and then cutting back. Because what you guys have to realize is that the more muscle you build and the more time you spend out of the calorie deficit, the better your body's going to look, the better you're going to feel. And also, like, it makes it a lot easier to get leaner. Because like now for me personally, it's like I'm not gaining a huge, like my goal is not to gain a huge amount of weight. Like I'm talking about 200 grams per week. So I'm really trying to maximize the gains are coming from muscle. So I'm not going to be gaining all that much. So therefore, when I come into my cutting phase at the end of March, it's going to be easier to be able to, I won't have, as much fat to cut back. That is the plan anyway, but we'll see. So I really hope that this section was helpful. Let me know if you want help with this in the comments below. If you have any questions, please ask. But I hope that really gives you an idea of what you should be focusing on. I will just like say this again and again. It's like we should be spending more time maintaining / bulking than cutting. And if you don't have that, if you're doing it the other way around, you're doing it wrong. So yeah, I hope that helps. Leave me a comment now. I'm excited because it's 12 o'clock. Let's make lunch together. And then we're spending the rest of the day together where we're going to be cooking, making some delicious, I'm making a chia pudding. So I'll show you how I'm doing that. So let's make lunch together. So does anyone make meal prep? And then it gets to the second day and then they're like, I don't feel like that anymore. Yeah, that happened to me this week. I was making salad sandwiches and I think I just overdid it because I had them every week last week. And now I was like really craving pizza. I was like, yeah, I really feel like pizza. So went to the shops. And instead, I actually ran out of bread rolls, so it was actually perfect. So instead of buying more bread rolls, I actually bought Lebanese bases. These are my absolute my favorite to make homemade pizza on. I love homemade pizza. I hate going out for pizza because I just find it greasy and just doesn't make me feel good. I don't like it. But homemade pizza. And then I've been making the base with this. This slaps so yum. And then from the start of the week, because I already cooked the chicken and it's just sliced with peri. Like it's for pizza. I'm going to put mushrooms and then any salad that I had left over from my salad sandwich box. Clearly haven't been eating it all, but I've just been eating every day yesterday. The beetroot out of it because I love that. And then onion on the pizza. This is a pizza roll. Anyway, it just makes the pizzas, it cooks them perfectly every single time. So barbecue sauce goes on. Then when I make homemade pizzas, I always make sure I'm not going to do it now, but I always try and make sure that I cook the ingredients that go on top of my pizza because otherwise it goes soggy. So for example, the chicken, that's cooked. I would never put raw chicken on a homemade pizza. Because the Lebanese bread, they take less time to cook than what chicken would. So then it's just the cooking ratios are off, you know? So I make sure that that is cooked. Then mushrooms as well is another food that I find is like doesn't take very long to cook, especially if I cut it thin, so I won't cook those. And then the only other thing really that I'm putting on this pizza, chicken, mushrooms, garlic and onions, really. That's it. Very basic, but barbecue chicken bites, like one of the best pizzas. So we're going to do that. Just quickly pop it up. Then we're hanging out together because we are making cheese seed pudding. Like cheese seed pudding is actually like really easy. And then there we go. We want my pizza oven and heat up a little bit more. We'll put it in, and then we're gonna get to cooking on cheese pudding and things. I'm also making protein bars as well, which I'm excited about. But I haven't made protein bars in ages. I'm making protein balls stuff. Look at that. She's cooked, she's ready. We're making the chia pudding first, and all we're doing is we're gonna blitz it. These protein powder, raspberries, coconut milk, chia seeds, maple syrup. Put this all together. We blend that up and we got ourselves a chia pudding. I'm actually filming this because I'm filming it for this amazing brand. So let's do it. So this is what behind the scenes of recipe creation reels look like. I have my tripod here and here. So let's make this chia pudding together. I'm gonna press film. I always put liquid in first. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Liquid goes in first, so 120 cups, 120 grams of coconut milk. Then we're gonna put the protein powder in. Then we're going to put the chia seeds in, 3 tablespoons of those, and then we're going to put the raspberries in. This will be interesting. See if we can get in there without, yeah. So guys, this is my reality behind the scenes. Horrible. Anyway, just thought I'd show you. It's really like, but the shot looks fantastic. So yeah. Okay, that is done. I'm very hot. It gets so hot in the kitchen because of all the windows. I'll show you the end product. Take a photo here. So now it's 3:30. I'm going to sit down, and every recipe that I share with you guys here and every recipe I create, you see on Instagram, is all for my online coaching, the Fit and Free Academy. And so now what I'm going to do is sit down and convert all of my recipes into different dietary requirements, like vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, egg-free, shellfish-free, because no one should be excluded just because, you know, you're lactose intolerant or you're a celiac. So I'm literally going to sit on my computer. I'm not going to show you that because I'm just going to be sitting there, because what I do is I get the recipe and then I sub in specific options of like the gluten-free or the dairy-free, so that you can still enjoy amazing food, achieving your goals while still sticking to those requirements. Other than that, I've been rewatching a season of the UK Love Island UK All Stars. I'm pretty sure it's starting today, so I'm excited about that. I bought myself a projector off Temu. I accidentally did they one-click upsold me. Sneaky devs. Anyway, I was silly. I fell for it. It's my fault. But I'm not mad about it because I bought myself a projector and I've just been setting it up in my room and projecting Love Island onto the wall. And it's just like have my red light on, and it's just like such a nice way to wind down. Nice and cozy. I love it. But yes, that is it, you guys. That is a week in my life. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you more than you know, and I'm excited about next week. Weekly vlogging. I'm loving this so much, and yeah, keep me updated with how you guys are feeling in the comments. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.